What the hell was that? Week one is in the books, and that couldn't have gone any worse for yours truly. Yeah, geez, 190 something points. I will say this though, that's not the highest all time. I know you were thinking about it. Was that the biggest butt whooping? No. In week 15 of the 2013 season, I put a 224 point whopping on Sam J. Remember that one? Um, so almost there, but not quite. But yeah, some high intensity. We had 190, 160, two 180s. Think of this. You have two 180 point scores. Two. And they went against each other and lost by literally 2 points. It's the most ridiculous way to lose. I'm in seventh place, but technically I'd be in third place type of thing if you go by points, right? So, Travis, bad beat there. But the one thing I will say, and then there were some people that just didn't score. It was quite the blowout type of situations. But the one thing I will say for all you high scoring people, it's not like the rules have changed. It's not like, oh, this is going to be the new norm. You just had a lot of people that scored 2 touchdowns in 1 week. And when you think about the fact that, they only score, 10, 12 touchdowns, and you score, each of you guys scored two in a 70, 80 point blowout, later on in the year, you're going to come back down to earth, the law of averages. You're not going to maintain that. And when you're going to need it, it's not going to be there. I'd rather lose like this and not score touchdowns knowing I'm going to have some pretty decent days that are going to carry me to the point where at least I can carry myself to these 7 or 8 wins. So, before we can move on and talk about anything, I think we just got to get through it. Here we are. Here is the week one butt whooping in review. Here's your week one review. Hill of a good time, proven 1-0, scored 194.96, defeats, 1 to go. It's now 0-1, 117-98. This series is now tied at 1 apiece. This was your blowout of the week. Piping Shrieks proves 1-0 with a 116-76 victory over Rogers is Right. It was now 0-1, 105.96. It was a feverish comeback, but it just fell too short. Dana now leads this series 6-2. What Doesn't Hurt? 1-0 with a 159.40 victory over You Got Jammed. 0-1 with a 113.96 score. Sam B still leads the series 7-3 overall. And what had to be the matchup of the year in week one already, DJ Chark improves the 1-0, defeating Glorious Domination, who doesn't deserve that loss at 0-1. 184.74 to 182.06. Damn! So close. It was almost a Monday Night Rundown. Almost. You would have felt bad. You feel bad for what would have happened if it would have run down. You feel bad for scoring 184 and losing. If Travis lost, you feel bad because he scored 182. But Travis takes some solace. You still lead this series 12-7. But yeah, if the league is going to have a lot of matchups like this, I think we're in for quite the season. Bucks and 6 still claims the Further House Home Trophy. 1-0 victory over the Tone Stank. Tone. Got your Tone over here. 156.72 to 87.50. Adam, I don't know. Got some work for you, but you just can't beat Kara, can you? The only thing he does right, and he still fumbles it and spills it everywhere. Number 5, Burden with Glorious Purpose, defeats Kevin's Famous Chili, 142.98 to 113.42 to make him go to 0-1. Katie now takes the command of the series at 8-7. All right, so now I promised this last week that I would debut a new segment for this season. I'm very proud of it. I've already filmed it. It is top notch. I'm proud. This in the 10th year of doing videos. This is one of the proudest things I've ever come up with. So it's hard to explain how hard it is, but why not? Just without further ado, here is the segment to be named.
Son of Chase, are you gonna won? What have you done?
So, there it is. That's our new segment. Basically, it's going to be kids belittling you for making poor fantasy football decisions and leaving copious amounts of points on the bench. So, you all have that to look forward to, huh? Yeah. So nothing says nothing adds more salt to the wound of defeat. Kind of other than that, So, yeah, expect that all season long, right here. So, let's put week 1 to rest, the dirtiness of it all, and let's focus on week 2. Let's get right into it. Here is your week 2 preview. The 2 seed DJ Shark taking on another 8 seed, 1 to go. DJ Shark projected to win 152 to 0.69 to 138.63. Again, looks like I'm going 0-2. Great start to the season. I do lead this series 6-4. 9th seed, you got jammed. At 0-1, taking on the 11th seed, Rogers is Right, who is also 0-1. A close matchup here, 149.28 to 146.28. So this might be the matchup to watch all year long, especially since it's going to come down to Monday Night Football because Eric has Rogers. And if he loses that game, then I think we can safely all look at if Aaron Rodgers loses, we can all safely point to Eric and blame him for this. Eric leads this series 7-3. The 5th seed, Burden with Glorious Purpose, 1-0, taking on the 6th seed, Piping Shrieks, 1-0, projected 139.38 to 128.23. Katie has by far the longest name I've ever have to type. That's why you notice on one screen it's very small and hard to read because I want it all on there. And on this screen you're like, where's your points? Oh, it's below. This is not normal because Katie can't just have a short normal name. She's got to be difficult. Katie does lead this series 4-3. Dana, please do to Eric what you did to Katie. The 7th seed, Glorious Domination, taking on the 3 seed, What Doesn't Hurt. This is one of the creme de la cremes of the matchups, one of their most all-time matchups. Travis leads this series 10-8. Played 18 times over the history, and it's 10-8, so it's a pretty good rivalry overall. Travis, can he hold on to actually win a game where he scores a ton of points? Because he's projected at 153.92. But lo and behold, Kyle's pretty up there too with a 143.74. So this could be one of those seasons where Travis would be winning against everybody except the people he keeps playing against. 4 seed, Bucks and 6. 1-0, taking on the 1 seed, Hill of a Good Time. Kara does lead this series 2-0 as well. Another close matchup. Look at this. All closest except mine. Guess I didn't draft well enough. Thought I did. Guess I didn't. 140.86 to 140.08. Good luck, Kara. I played Hill of a Good Time. That's why she's in the 1 seed. She scored 100,000 points, which means she'll only score like 67 against you because, hey, why not me, right? Why not just put your best game against Jamie? Finally, in which is a Dumper Bowl preview, per se, perhaps. 10th seed, Kevin's Famous Chili, 0-1. 12th seed, Tone Stank, 0-1. Sam J does lead the series 1-0. 148.10 to 132.94. Hot damn, you're already 16 points in the hole. That's like facing a 7.5 point spread and being the home team. Good luck. I don't think Adam has ever not been in 12. I'm just saying. So here's the thing about this year's stats and numbers and stuff like that. Here's where I usually tell you about, teams that start 2-0, 1-1, 0-2, where they go as far as into the playoffs. But we are in new, uncharted territories. I mean, technically, I could go all the way back to 2010 and 2011 when we did play a 14-game schedule with only having 2 rounds of playoffs. Because back in those days, in the primitive days, it was the top 4 made the playoffs, the next 4 made the consolation, and the bottom 4 were standard, static, and the last place was the dumper. So it was dumper by league standing, not dumper by losing 2 playoff games. That all changed in 2012, 2012 about. So we, at one point we were playing a 14-game schedule, and I just want to point out, Bob, you were 13-1 in one of those 2 years, and you didn't win the championship. Think about that. Wrap your mind around that. 13-1. And we were just talking about it now. Mind you, Bob, also, you were 5-0 to start a season and didn't make the playoffs. So, Bob, you have quite the track record of anomalies and stuff. So, but the biggest thing is, I don't know what to tell you. Is 2-0 going to be enough? It's a good start because it used to be get to 7 wins. You're 7-6. 7 wins was always the catalyst to make the playoffs. Is 7 enough now? I don't know. Maybe it's got to be 8-5 or 8-7 is the playoffs. 14 would be 8-5. Sorry. 8-6. See, even the math is hard. But at 7-7, is that enough? But even then, saying 7 wins, 7 losses, is 7 losses going to get you in? Well, if you have 2 losses now, you have 5 more to play with. It's not as bad as looking as before, where we only had the 6, and you have 2. You're a third of the way there, and you're almost out of the playoffs. Like, So it's a lot of up in the air. The thing for sure that's granted is between Eric and Sam B and Sam J and Adam, 2 of you are going to start 0-2, guaranteed. Because you're 0-1 now, you're guaranteed to see that. So Travis and I, we may have luck, or we may be joining them. Could be 4, could be 2. So yeah. The one thing that I do want to do is, since I have to start thinking outside the box of how to do these videos when we don't have as much historical data, I want to do a what if. Yep, if you're a Marvel fan and you're watching, there's a show What If. Basically, it's the premise of the multiverse. What happens if one little thing changed and boom, everything was different? What I want you to do is you tell me your what if something happened. And then how would that have changed our multiverse of fantasy football? So just email me what you think, some stuff, and we'll work through it, and it'll be a later video, but I think it'll be pretty good. Eric and I already talked about it. We've got 2 in our minds, so, good stuff. Well, hope you enjoyed. Till next time, I'll see you on the Fantasy Gridiron.